While everyone thought Lum would forge a sword or armor, he visited Granny Mur, the village's spiciest cook. "I need 3 jars of your hottest chili powder, the kind that makes chickens cry." Then he collected smooth stones by the river, wrapping chili in cloth. Friends thought he was selling snacks. Lum just grinned. The less they expect, the better. That night, he tested his super spicy slingshot, hitting a leaf 50 steps away. No one believed he'd win, except a blind old man, and Lum himself. Lum stood confidently at the edge of a small village clearing, holding his slingshot with a determined expression, while villagers gathered around looking skeptical and amused. The blind old man sat on a wooden bench beneath a tree, listening intently to the commotion, his face showing a mix of intrigue and confidence as he sensed Lum's determination. The villagers gathered in a circle, laughing and pointing at Lum, who aimed his slingshot with precision, the chili powder visible in the air as he prepared to launch. A close-up of Lum's focused face revealed a spark of mischief in his eyes as he released the slingshot, sending a stone flying toward a target made of leaves. The next morning, Lum arrived at Fire Valley, but instead of 1 dragon, 3 showed up. "You never said there'd be more," he shouted. The black dragon sneered. "I changed my mind. The world isn't fair." The dragons flew around, creating fiery tornadoes. Still, Lum didn't flinch. He climbed a rock, took aim, and hit the biggest dragon in the eye. It roared in pain, spinning wildly. The others charged at Lum, but he stood tall, with Plan B in mind. With a swift motion, Lum revealed the glowing talisman, a relic from ancient times believed to hold the power to tame dragons. He could feel its energy coursing through him as the 2 remaining dragons circled closer, their fury palpable. "This ends now," he declared, hoping that the talisman would be strong enough to turn the tide against the fearsome creatures. The fire around him intensified as he prepared to unleash the talisman's magic. As Lum raised the talisman, a brilliant light erupted from it, casting a protective aura around him. The dragons hesitated, taken aback by the unexpected turn of events. With each pulse of energy, Lum felt a connection to the ancient spirits of the valley, urging him to stand firm. "You may be fierce, but I wield the power of fire and spirit," he shouted, igniting his resolve as the confrontation reached its boiling point. As the dragons rushed in, Lum pulled out a bottle of Granny Mur's rice wine, not to drink. He lit it, threw it into the fire tornado. Boom! Smoke and chili dust filled the valley. The dragons coughed and wheezed. Lum launched more spicy shots into their eyes and mouths. 1 dragon collapsed. The others crashed into each other mid-air. Then, rumble! The ground split open beneath them. Lum and the dragons tumbled down into a place no one had ever seen. In an instant, Lum found himself in a mysterious underground cavern, illuminated by glowing crystals that pulsed with an otherworldly light. He sat atop a pile of gold coins, bewildered yet intrigued, as the dragons recovered and began to explore their new surroundings, their curious expressions revealing a mix of confusion and wonder. Curiosity overtook caution as Lum cautiously approached a massive stone door adorned with ancient runes flanked by the dragons whose scales shimmered in the dim light. He reached out to touch the intricate runes, determination etched on his face as the symbols began to glow faintly beneath his fingertips. With the glowing egg cradled carefully in his hands, Lum felt a mix of wonder and responsibility. The old man gestured toward a path leading out of the cave, surrounded by lush greenery and distant mountains, hinting at the many adventures that lie ahead for Lum. Lum woke up in a glowing cave. The dragons were there, but now only the size of cows. A voice echoed, "Brave one, you've passed the test." It was the blind old man, now standing strong. "I am the keeper of balance. Dragons aren't evil, only awakened by human greed." Lum listened as the old man handed him a glowing egg. "Take this. It will teach humans how to live in harmony with dragons." Lum nodded. The battle was over, but a new journey was beginning. Stepping onto the path leading out of the cave, Lum felt the warmth of the sun shining down on him, illuminating his determined expression as he embarked on his new journey. Ahead stretched a vast landscape of rolling hills and a bright blue sky with faint silhouettes of dragons soaring majestically in the distance. Lum held the glowing egg. It felt warm like fire but didn't burn. The old man said if raised with kindness it will protect the world. Lum wrapped the egg carefully in his shirt. The 3 dragons bowed in farewell. He climbed out using roots and rocks. Back in the village, everyone was shocked. "Where are the dragons?" "They're not enemies anymore," said Lum. "But we must change first." Lum took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their gazes. He explained how the dragons once feared humanity, but now had the potential to be allies. A murmur spread through the crowd as curiosity began to replace their fear. With every word, Lum painted a picture of a new world where beings of all kinds could coexist. Children tugged at their parents' sleeves, their eyes sparkling with excitement and wonder. Lum urged the villagers to embrace the dragons, sharing stories of their wisdom and bravery. "We have much to learn from them," he said, his voice resonating with conviction. One villager stepped forward skeptical but intrigued, asking how they could trust creatures once seen as foes. Lum smiled, reminding them that trust is built through acts of kindness and understanding. The crowd began to chatter amongst themselves, the seeds of change taking root in their hearts. Episode 14. The Troublemaker. News spread quickly, but not all were happy. A greedy noble named Baho shouted, "That egg is treasure! Give it to me!" Lum stood firm. "It's not for wealth, it's for peace." Baho hired guards, threatened villagers. That night Lum hid the egg deep in the forest and set clever traps. "If he wants it, he'll have to earn it," he muttered. The next fight wasn't with dragons, but human greed. As dawn approached, Baho and his guards prepared to invade the forest, unaware of the clever traps laid out before them. Lum watched from a distance, heart racing, knowing he had to defend the egg at all costs. The tension in the air thickened as the greedy noble began giving orders, and the first guard stepped into one of Lum's elaborate snares. The guard's yelps echoed through the trees, causing panic among Baho's men. Lum seized the moment, using the element of surprise to outsmart the greedy noble. With each trap that ensnared a guard, Lum's confidence grew, fueled by the thought of protecting peace rather than riches. Episode 15. Battle in the Shadows. Baho and 10 guards stormed into the forest. One by one they fell, mud pits, chilly smoke biting vines. Lum used wit, not weapons. Still Baho found the egg. He raised his sword. Suddenly the egg glowed. A baby dragon burst out puffing smoke. Baho fell flat. Lum hugged the dragon. "Welcome to the world." The forest fell silent. Lum looked into the dragon's eyes, sensing a bond that transcended words. The tension in the air shifted, replaced by a feeling of hope and new beginnings. As the dragon let out a small roar, the guards stood frozen, fear giving way to awe. Baho, recovering from his shock, stared at the scene unfolding before him, uncertainty etched on his face. It was a moment that would change everything. As the baby dragon flapped its wings, Lum could hardly contain his excitement, feeling an unbreakable connection forming. The guard's expression shifted from fear to wonder, captivated by the beauty of this newfound creature. Baho, still bewildered, slowly lowered his weapon, grappling with the significance of what had just transpired. Lum looked up at Baho with determination, ready to defend his new friend at all costs.